So have you ever found yourself daydreaming about escaping your own life? You know what I mean? Where you're thinking about your next vacation, next time you can take a break. You can't wait for the weekend to happen. You're not enjoying your everyday, like your Monday through Friday. Maybe not even your weekends. Well, I've been there, and I think we've all been there. I've craved peace. I wish things would just stop, like no more fighting and getting irritated with each other and all that stuff. And, just juggling this endless to-dos and just realizing that it's just not the way I want to live. And I don't want to live for the weekends or live for vacations. You know what I mean? I want to enjoy my life right here, right now. And once I came to that conclusion, I started making little changes in my life, and I want to share that with you today. If you're new here, I'm Xuan, and welcome to Cozy Notes, a space where we slow down, rediscover joy, and live life more intentionally. And I'm so happy you're here. So grab a cuppa and let's dive in. Ooh. I think one of the main reasons why we want to escape our lives is because we're just feeling so overwhelmed by this busyness trap that we're in, where we have endless to-do lists and responsibilities, and we have to go to work and pay bills and do all the things, get the chores done, all that stuff. And it's never ending. It's never ending. And we feel like we have to constantly be busy. We feel like we have to constantly be productive to be worthy in some way. And so that is a major factor of why we feel like we need to escape our lives, because we're just not happy doing these things that we have to do. And the next is that we feel disconnected from what truly matters. Many of us focus on goals or activities that don't really align with our values. We're not doing things that feel good. You know what I mean? We're doing things because we feel like we have to do it, or we are expected to do things. But just not feeling like your life is aligned with your values and your purpose. And so that often leads us to wanting to escape from our lives because we're just not living the life that we dreamed of. So next, we are stuck in the hustle culture, which is kind of related to busyness. We're constantly told to do more, achieve more, push harder, which eventually leads us to burnout. And when you are burnt out, you just don't want to live the life that you're living. You just lay there and you have no energy to do anything. So that is another reason why we want to escape from our lives. So let's talk about how you can create a life that you actually love. We can't always escape. It'd be nice if you just pick up and go. I know there's some people that do that, but then at the same time, when they do that, they're abandoning their families and their responsibilities, etc. And we can't really do that. We have families to feed. We have humans to take care of. We have bills to pay. We have homes that we need to take care of. And we can't just abandon it all, That would be selfish, I think. I mean, yes, I know there's some people who sell all their stuff and then go move abroad or travel around the world or whatever, but they're just aligning their life with their values. They're not really abandoning their families. They are just taking a different route, a different way to live life according to their values. So creating a life you love, they're creating a life that you love. So the first is intentionality. Intentionality is living a life in alignment with what truly matters to you. So it's about letting go of the shoulds. We should do this, I should do that, and focusing on what brings real joy to you. And, just being intentional about things. Yes, you have to pay bills, but we can reframe it, right? We can reframe it and we can say I'm grateful that I have the money to be able to afford to buy or to pay for these streaming services that I enjoy watching, or I am glad that I have the money to pay off my credit card bills. So I'm happy that I'm able to pay my utility bills and able to keep the lights on in our house, the water running, the trash removed, our home warm. But yeah, just being intentional about the things that we are doing, and then also just doing things that really bring you joy. So sometimes it's just a mindset shift to take something you don't enjoy doing and then turning it into something that you do enjoy doing. It's maybe, cooking. We don't enjoy cooking. I know people who don't enjoy cooking, and in order to, enjoy cooking, they think, oh, I have to cook a nutritious meal for my family. And instead of like being grumpy about it, they put on an audiobook or their favorite podcast or their favorite songs, and they listen to something that brings them joy while they're doing something they don't really enjoy doing, but then it allows them to enjoy doing what they're doing because they're being intentional about it in some ways. And they're just coupling what they enjoy doing with something that they have to do. I want to clean the house because I want my house to be warm and cozy and comfortable for my family and for any visitors that we have, and for myself, because the less cluttered it is, the more comfortable I am and the less stressed I am as well. Which leads us to simplicity. And simplicity is just kind of reducing the clutter in your space. Now, I'm not saying that you need to like get rid of all your stuff and become a minimalist, because I am not a minimalist at all, nowhere near. And my family, like even further away from minimalism. But simplicity, like getting rid of things that don't really matter, because we do clutter our homes. We buy things online that we don't really want and that we don't end up using, and they just kind of clutter our homes, and we feel guilty about getting rid of them because we purchased it. And we don't want to get rid of something. We feel like it's a waste of money, but it's still a waste of money if you're not using it, right? So whether you keep it or use it or don't use it, yeah. So simplifying our schedules, that's another way we can really love our life, because when we love our days, like we're not doing things that we don't want to do or feel like we have to do. Like if we don't do those things, we have more white space in our lives, we're going to enjoy our lives much more. If your lives are packed back to back with activities and events and to-dos, like you're going to feel stressed. And when you're stressed and anxious, you're not going to be enjoying your life. So we need to create more white space in our lives. And then even our mind, like decluttering our minds. Like how many of you have, stayed awake late into the night overthinking about all the things that you need to do or happened in the past or what have you. And we need to just declutter our mind. So journaling, I know some people are like, ugh, I can't journal, but I'm not into journaling with prompts, using prompts. I'm more into journaling as just like clearing my mind. So it's more of like stream of conscious journaling. And so I do something similar to morning pages from Julia Cameron from The Artist's Way. But I don't do them just in the morning. I do them whenever I can. And it's not always every day because, I have a busy life too. Sometimes I just don't feel like I have the time to do it. But I often find that if I do it in the morning or in the evening, it really helps to declutter my mind, to get everything that's in my head out onto paper. And brainstorming too. Brainstorming helps as well to declutter my mind, because I think about all the things I need to do. If I just do a brain dump and just dump it all out, like sometimes my morning pages or my afternoon pages, whatever you want to call them, it's not beautifully written, thought-provoking stuff at all. Sometimes it's just a list of all the things that I need to do or want to do. And then I end up circling like, what is really important? What can I do right now? So simplicity, making your life simple. How can I make my life easier? And the next is mindfulness. So mindfulness is like just being fully present, not on your phone scrolling while you're hanging out with someone. Yeah, that's not being mindful. Or watching TV, but you're on your phone. That's not being mindful at all. And not rushing through life, like not being on autopilot and rushing through life as well. So we don't want to do that either. So we want to be present. We want to not rush. And we don't want to be on autopilot, because when we're on autopilot, we're not really present. We're just doing the motions. You know what I mean? It's like driving. Like sometimes when we're driving the same route over and over again, like all of a sudden you're home and you're like, how did I get here? We need to be more mindful. We need to be more present is what it is. We need to be more present. And if we're more present, we're going to enjoy the life that we're in rather than wanting to escape all the time. And next is self-compassion. So self-compassion is just letting go of perfectionism and embracing a gentler, more forgiving approach to yourself in your life. So like the first 2 episodes of my podcast, it's a video podcast, I filmed it on the like video podcast application program thing. And the videos did not come out very well, even though I used a good camera. For whatever reason, it didn't come out well. And I thought I did all the settings right. Maybe I didn't. So now the old me would have gotten upset, deleted all the footage, and started over. And that would have been very time consuming and not good for my mental health either. But current me was like, oh, well, it's a learning process, right? Being very compassionate with myself. Like, I'm learning. I've never used this platform before. I've never done a video podcast before, or even a podcast itself. And so, yeah, just being gentle with myself, and I'm learning, and things will hopefully be improving. Now I'm filming in a different manner and plan on uploading it to the video podcast application and edit from there. And yeah, so we'll see how it goes. I don't know. Maybe I'll do something different. But, life is experiment. I think being flexible is really important, and being compassionate with ourselves as well. Because things don't always go the way that we plan. And getting all worked up about it makes us not enjoy the life that we're in. Worst day ever. It doesn't have to be the worst day ever. All right, so next we're going to talk about practical steps for cultivating a fulfilling and cozy life. And so the first is to identify your core values. Getting clear on what truly matters, and then aligning your actions with those values, which is kind of hard. I mean, when I say values, it's like what matters to you, like what's important to you. Your values are what's important to you. And your actions are like the things that you do to support what's important to you. And so what are you doing that supports what's important to you? So like, say your family is very important to you, but you are doing all these things where you're not nurturing those relationships. Like, you are always staying late at work, or you are taking work home and working on that at home instead of spending time with your family. Or you're not taking time off in order to go see your kids play or whatever they're doing, or maybe on the weekends, instead of spending time with your family, you're committing to things outside of the house, like going to a friend's house, or going to a work event, or, going to like a networking event. Like, all those things are important in some ways, but I think it's about prioritizing. You need to prioritize what is important and do those things. And then you will enjoy your life. You'll be doing the things that you really love to do, rather than the things that you feel like you should do or have to do. So yeah, I think identifying your core values, like what's most important to you, is like key here. Next is to, design your day intentionally. Like, really look at your calendar and see what, where does your time go? Like, where are you allocating your time and your focus? So doing like a time audit or a time inventory, and then seeing where you can eliminate. What can you eliminate from your schedule? What things can you delegate to other people? You don't have to do everything, right? You can delegate to other people. You can also say no and not do the things. You don't have to do all the things. You don't have to make everyone happy. I think a lot of people think that they put so much effort into their work, which is, it's good. You want to have like a good, strong work ethic, but then you also have to consider that if something happened to you, they will replace you. Just remember that. If something happens to you, they will replace you. Or you can get laid off. It doesn't matter how much work you put into the company. You can get laid off. Just remember that, yes, you want to have a good work ethic, but also you don't want to put all your energy into your work and thinking that your work is your value. It's not. You are more valuable than that. You are more than just your profession. Your profession is just part of your life, and it's just how you make a living to afford the things that you love to do. And very few of us have the privilege of doing something that we absolutely love. And even then, when you're doing something that you absolutely love as your profession, it becomes work. Let's structure our days around meaningful activities and routines or rituals or just things that give us joy. What gives you joy? Are you doing something every day that gives you joy? There's like there's an activity that I recently did where I wrote down like 20 things. I think it was from the Artist's Way, and I wrote down 20 things that I love doing. And then right next to it, I wrote the date. When was the last time I actually did that? And some of those things I do quite often. And other things, it's been like 6 or 7 years since I've done them. And so it makes you really put things in perspective. Like, why aren't I doing these things that I love so much? What's holding me back? There's the book, I forgot the book, that You Are the Mountain or something like that. I have to remember who was that author. You Are the Mountain. Let me look it up real quick. The Mountain is You by Brianna Weiss. Transforming Self-Sabotage and Self-Mastery. Yeah. You are the mountain. You are the obstacle in your life. So next is to set healthy boundaries, which is hard to do. When you first start setting boundaries, if you're not used to setting boundaries, it's going to feel weird, especially if you're a people pleaser. It's going to feel awkward and weird and just uncomfortable, and you don't want to do it. And, like when your nervous system is trying to keep you safe and telling you not to do something, you just have to calm her down and say, you know what, I got this. Things will be all right. And we just keep doing that. And eventually our nervous system won't react in the way that it does. So setting healthy boundaries. So that's protecting your time. So saying no, I just don't have the time or capacity to do it. I'm so sorry. Say no. Protecting your energy. So that's like your capacity. Like you don't have the energy to do all the things. Like I don't have the capacity to do everything. And that's okay. You don't have to do it all. You don't have to do it all. And you don't have to do it all at once. And then also protecting your peace. Like saying no to things that just don't align with your values or just something you don't really enjoy doing. Like how many of us have said yes to something for whatever reason, only to, when the time comes for us to fulfill our duties, we're like, crap, why did I say yes to this? I don't want to do this. And so sometimes we have to think of our future selves. We have to think of our future selves and think about how we can make them happy. Like we know them better than anyone else, right? So yeah, we want to create a life that we love. We want to be doing the things that we love so much. There's been times where like people have invited me to go out to like a bar to watch a football game. I don't like football. I hate football. And so I respond like, I love you so much. I want to hang out with you. How about like a hike on another day? I don't want to take you away from your football game. I know that you love hiking too. And so why don't we go on a hike or a walk or go hunting for geocaches? So, it's just learning to say no in a healthy way. Like you don't need to make everyone happy. And it's okay if you disappoint people because that's just life. So next is to prioritize self-care. So making time for nurturing activities that fill your cup, whether it's a hobby, a quiet time, or a little treat. So for me, my self-care is hiking. I haven't hiked in a couple of weeks because it's holidays and our schedules are all crazy, but I hike at least once a week. I go for a long walk without any dogs or kids with me once a week. I exercise, I crochet, I color, I paint, I read, I journal. I do all these things that give me joy and that replenish me, because if I don't replenish myself, then I'm not going to be the greatest mom or partner or friend or anyone, because I'm going to be, totally drained. And then if I don't take care of myself, I'm not enjoying my life. I'm an angry person, and I don't want to be an angry person. I want to enjoy my life. I want to enjoy the people around me. I want to enjoy the things that I'm doing. And so that means doing the things that you love to do. Enjoying your life, not wanting to escape your life, is to do the things that you want to do. But that doesn't mean you need to be selfish, you know? Like, I do the things that I love doing, but I also take care of my family and I homeschool my kids too. But that's not all I do. You know what I mean? I also need to refill my cup so that I can pour out to them. I need to be overfilled, overflowing, basically, so that I'm not running out of juice. And my capacity level is so much higher when I do that as well. And I'm able to handle things a lot better as well. And then there's creating cozy and intentional spaces in your home. So surround yourself with items and settings that feel warm and comforting, helping you feel at home in your life. So there's some of us that move a lot. I have a client that moves like at least every year. She's moving somewhere new. And her recent move, it was really hard for her. And her house was like chaotic mess and stuff. And so she just finally, instead of complaining about it, she took action and she like organized her house and created like a warm, cozy home that made her comfortable and that made her enjoy being at home. And, that is so important to have those cozy little spaces. And even if you, live with other people and you have to share a space with people, this is my cozy little space that I can like chillax at. I can read my book. I can watch TV if I want. I can do some journaling. I can record these videos. And it's really nice having a space of my own. And like my husband's cozy space is his garage. Like, even though to me, when I look in there, I'm like, oh man, this is a big mess, but it's his cozy space. It's his like sanctuary, And then for my kids, their cozy space, well, for my oldest, his is his bedroom. He loves his like little cave that he has. And then for my other two, their cozy space is in here. They love hanging out in here with me. And so, yes, I don't always have some quiet time, but my kids know if I close my door, that means just to give me some space, which they usually do. Which kind of like brings me to something else. It's kind of a little bit off topic, is that if you're like a mom, a busy mom, and you're looking for space and time for yourself, stop looking for big chunks of time because you're not going to get it. You need to find those little chunks of time and really embrace it. Embrace the little bit of quiet that you get. Like one of my best friends, she has a long commute for work, and she's been really embracing the little quiet time that she has, the quiet times that she has in the car between work and home. It's almost like a transition for her to get out of work mode and into home mode. But then she gets that little time for herself where she can listen to her audiobooks, or she can listen to podcasts that she loves. Because, sometimes when you're in the car with your kids, you can't really listen to some of those audiobooks that you're into. I know with me, I have to use earbuds when I'm listening to my audiobook when I'm cleaning, or, listening to podcasts, because if I put on one of my podcasts, my kids start complaining like, oh, this is boring. I don't want to listen to this. And so, yeah, find those little pockets of time that you have for yourself and do something. Don't go on your phone scrolling, because we may think and we may feel like we're decompressing, but we're not really, because we're just getting dopamine hits, constant dopamine hits. And we need better dopamine hits. You know what I mean? So I know like it's really popular with like, I think, is it Gen Z or Gen Alpha? I don't know. I get them all confused right now. This is me showing my age. But they had like was it a dopamine menu or something like that? Like activities that you can do that are not going on your phone and scrolling or going on the internet or whatever, watching TV, but just like little activities that you can do that gives you a little pop of joy. So yeah, enjoying the life that you have right here and right now, being present, not to be so morbid, but when you are on your deathbed and you're looking back at your life, you can think, wow, I really had a wonderful life. I really enjoyed my life. Even though I had some struggles, overall, I had a good life. I lived. Because if you just sat at home watching TV and drinking wine or beer all day long after work and on the weekends, are you really living life? Are you really living life? Or you can't wait to get off of work so that you can have the weekends to like binge drink? Is that really living life? I don't know. I mean, I'm not against drinking. I'm not a teetotaler, but I just feel like that we're escaping, In the past, for me, when I was escaping my life, when I wasn't enjoying my life, I couldn't wait until the end of the day so I could have my glass of wine. And eventually that glass of wine ended up to 2 glasses of wine. And then the next thing you know, I was finishing like a bottle a night. And I realized that that's not the way I wanted to live. To me, that wasn't living a life that I love. For me, that was escaping the life that I was living. And I don't want that for you. I want you to live a life that you love. So next is to shifting your mindset from escaping to embracing. So we want to reframe our productivity. So we want to focus on quality and enjoyment in what you do rather than just ticking off a list. So yeah, just finding ways where we can enjoy the things that we have to do in life. And it's not all about just getting everything done. So less is more. You don't have to do all the things. Your list doesn't have to be so long. There's probably things on there that you don't really need to do. You just feel like you should do. And so, yeah, just really prioritizing what is important and focusing on quality over quantity, because it doesn't matter how much you get done if you're not doing a very good job doing it or enjoying doing it. Next is to embrace seasonal living. So recognizing that there are seasons of rest and growth and change, and that you don't have to be on all the time. Like you don't have to be on all the time. You don't have to be a go-getter 24/7, like you can have periods of rest. And so for us women, like we kind of live seasonally in 2 ways. Like one is just like the natural rhythms of the earth, the seasons that we have. And then 2 is our cycles. And instead of fighting nature, we need to like just embrace it. When I have my period, like I don't really want to do too much, and that's okay. And I'm not going to beat myself up about it. Instead, I'm going to be nice and cozy, going to read my books, going to journal, going to color, just do all the things that bring me joy. And for wintertime, like right now it's January and people are like in a rush to set new goals and to do all these things to new year, new me. And here I am just like, yeah, new year, same, nothing changed. Yes, I have goals and ambitions in life, but they're ongoing. They're ongoing. They're not something that happens only at the beginning of the year. For me, when I make goals, they happen more often each season, because each season I have different goals. Like I don't have year-long goals. My goals are just seasonal. They're short-term goals. And that's better for me because it just feels more doable. A year is long, even though a year goes by really quick. It's still long. It's still 12 months. And I'm the type of person that if I try to, I will burn out trying to, I just don't do year-long goals. They don't work for me. And then finding joy in the small moments. So that's like practicing gratitude and savoring the little things like a quiet morning or a meal with your family. So gratitude journaling. That's something that I do want to get into, where I'm writing down like at the end of the night, like the things I'm grateful for, the good things that happened in my life that day. Because oftentimes it's the bad things, even if they're small and they're nothing, they weigh more for whatever reason than the good things. And I think focusing on what's good in our life and what we're grateful for, and not just saying the same thing over and over again, that I think that is really important to do. So being grateful for the life that you have. And yes, some of us have challenges in our life. But is everything bad? Is everything bad? And if it is, then you get yourself out of that situation instead of staying in there. And then yes, with like illnesses and stuff, they're horrible, but isn't that the best time to be spending time with your family? Isn't that what we want to do, is to spend time with our family when we're going through hard times, right? So all this to say that slow living or mindful living or intentional living, however you want to phrase it, really reduces burnout and stress. And the reason why most of us want to escape our lives is because we're burnout and stressed. And it increases resilience and mental well-being. So when you live in alignment with your values, you feel more grounded and less overwhelmed because you know everything that you're doing has an intention to it. It fosters a sense of control and purpose. So when life reflects what truly matters to you, it feels less chaotic and more meaningful. And I mean, isn't that what we want, is a meaningful and fulfilled life, not a chaotic and, stuck in survival mode? Intentional living also creates a sense of contentment where we're not happy 24/7. I'm not like a happy person 24/7. I have moods, but overall, I'm very content with my life. I'm very pleased with my life. And the need to escape fades from my daily life, and instead I'm enjoying my life, which is wonderful. I'm no longer like, yes, I love vacations. I love road trips. I love travel. I love going on adventures, but I also love being at home, and I love being with my family here. I don't want to escape from that. And in the past, I couldn't wait. I would daydream about trips that we haven't even taken or don't even plan to take. And I would spend days just looking stuff up online and just, wishing that we could go and do these things. And now that's not the case anymore. I don't do that anymore. I just realized that right now, that I don't do that anymore. I don't daydream about going on a vacation anymore. Instead, I enjoying the life that I have right now, right here. And I love it. So remember, this journey to live a more intentional life it's not gonna happen overnight. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of mindset shifts. It takes a lot of changes, small changes. Don't make big changes because that usually doesn't end up well. Don't rush it. Don't rush it. Go slow. Just take it one day at a time and you'll get there. If you're interested in kickstarting your mindful living journey, I do have 1-hour coaching sessions that includes a week of Voxer. We can find a way for you to live a life that's a little bit more intentional and more joyful, and where you don't want to escape from it. So I hope you found value in this video, and make sure you like and subscribe and leave a comment, leave a review, however you're viewing this video or podcast. I'm so glad you're here, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Ciao.